What is going on, guys? This is Badass Review here, and I am back with another review. This time I am taking a look at the Marvel Legends Rocket Raccoon series, Scarlet Spider. This is probably, I wouldn't say the least favorite of the wave, but I definitely don't like this figure too much. He's okay in my opinion, but I really just don't like any of these new Spider-Man figures that they've been putting out, because I don't know if it's the mold or it's just because of the outfit choice or what, but the problem I seem to have is that the paint is always really bad on them, and it just bugs the crap out of me. And then it's like the articulation isn't too great. Like, it's pretty good, but I'll make some reference. I'll have some comparisons later. But the head just seems like it's a little too big, and so are the hands. And that's just a real big problem for me because it's just really annoying. But this one, I guess out of the 3 Spider-Man figures we have through Marvel Legends, I'd say this is like my second favorite. Future Foundation being my favorite of the new Spider-Man figures, and then Big Time Spider-Man being my least favorite because that figure just sucks. But this one is okay, but of course on mine it had to have problems with the paint. As you can see, like on his eyeball here, they completely screwed up the paint. The black, it's like it got scraped away, so it's like the black is going through, and it's just like they didn't really finish painting the eyes or anything. And then the head itself just has crappy paint. It's like a 12-year-old painted over it, and that kind of sucks. The rest of the body looks fine though. I kind of like the red and black. That combination's really nice. It's just, I've never seen this outfit before besides now. And, really, I wish they would just come out with a new Spider-Man, figure, like, more like how this Spider-Man looks. Like, why can't they have this costume for this figure? Or why can't Hasbro just release this figure, like, period? Like, I feel like they'd make so much more money if they made every Spider-Man figure with this body, because this body mold is amazing and it's far superior to any other Spider-Man figure that we'll ever get. And they continue to give us this one, which I guess is okay, but I don't like the costume choices, and I really wish they would just give us a costume like this, which I would be fine with. But they need to improve on the hand size and the head size. This one is perfectly proportioned to his body and all that, and he has all the amazing articulation. This one has jack squat compared to him, and I really just don't like it. Now, let's see. If they made more of their Spider-Man figures like this Spider-Man, which is like the best Spider-Man figure Hasbro has put out, that would be great, because this one has all that great articulation. Actually, it's the same exact mold as this, except they took out, what they've done is they've taken out the ankle swivel right here, which some people say they don't need anyways, but you know, it's better than having less articulation, because I kind of prefer to have it there. That one doesn't have it, because instead of having this, they have the ankle pivot, and it doesn't have that swivel there. But if they would just make it with like add the ankle pivot to this figure, and then give him hand, like a web shooting hand here, and then a fist here that were the same size as this hand, and then give him a head that was a slightly bit bigger than this one. Actually, I think this head's quite okay in proportion with his body. I kind of want it to be a little bit bigger, but if they can make it a little bit bigger and give him the same sculpt, I think this figure would be 10 times better. But they didn't. They take away articulation, they give him giant hands and head, and it's just stupid. I mean, Hasbro did technically re-release this figure in the Spider-Man Classics wave, but I haven't seen it since, and that's a really hard figure to find. But if they would just like release this figure with all these costumes and stuff, I think they'd be making bank. Like, this would be like the best figure out of every wave that he was in, just because this is such a popular figure. And, you know, I guess, like, we'll just have to deal with it, but I think it's stupid they don't have that figure, you know, used more instead of this piece of crap. So, enough about my ranting about Spider-Man figures. But yeah, that's basically it. I know I wasn't really talking about this figure too much. I was just kind of ranting, but there's really nothing else to say because this figure is just not detailed or anything, and so it just sucks. Really, all that's cool about him is that he's red and black. Too bad that the figure just kind of, like, it would... I'm just gonna stop there because I'll rant on. I could rant about it for like 30 minutes, but anyways, the head, it's on a swivel, so you can move it up and down. So I guess that's okay. He can rotate 360 degrees. His arms go in and out, rotate 360 degrees. He has the butterfly joint, what people mostly call this joint, which is nice. That's really nice articulation. I like that quite a bit. And then they had the elbow joint here, elbow joint, double jointed elbow. Screwing up everything. This is a bicep, that's an elbow, this rotates, that bends. Whew, man, I'm just like so frustrated with these figures, and then it screws up everything. But then he has a pivot or a swivel in the wrist as well as a rotation. This hand is his Spider-Man web shooting hand, and this is a fist. If this hand was just smaller, if the hands were just a bit smaller, it'd be okay. But they're just such a huge clunking hand. It just doesn't even make sense. It's like huge. It's like he smashed his hand on a car and then like his hand swelled up. So every time he was like going around fighting crime, his hands were just swollen. It just looked ridiculous. So anyways, his torso, he has a bicep, good lord. He has an ab crunch which goes down pretty far, goes back a good amount. He rotates at the waist. He bends, or you have to rotate his hips to go forward and back, and then you got to rotate them again to go in and out. He rotates at the upper part of the thigh here. He bends at the knee, 2 points at the knee. He bends at the foot and has an ankle pivot, as well as peg holes on the bottom of the foot, which I never actually note usually, but I just saw it, so I figured I'd say something about it. But there you have your figure. That's Scarlet Spider for you. These figures have potential. It's just Hasbro has to screw them up some way or another. I think this one actually would have been fine, except for the fact that my guy's head was completely screwed up. So hopefully that's not like that for everybody's. But I'm sure it's just mine because that's just how things work. Is usually there's going to be paint flaws and all that. So I guess that's just how it is. Literally, I think this would be so much better if the proportions were a little bit better and they had the extra articulation. But who knows? Maybe I'm just angry because they don't ever put out this figure instead of all these other ones when they have this figure, but they don't put it out. So it doesn't make sense. But I guess I already have this figure, so it doesn't matter. But not like I paid cheap amount for him. But, you know, it's whatever. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this rant video. I have one more review, and that is of Rocket Raccoon himself. I hope you guys will stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys can subscribe, comment, rate, join me on Facebook, join me on Twitter, do whatever you gotta do. Leave me some comments and whatnot, and your thoughts on this figure and the Spider-Man figures in general, and I'll talk to you guys later.